with the balance of the water resources, the amount of the water flow annually from the major rivers of the country, Deori, Chinwe, Sidong, Sami, is around the 1,082 cubic kilometers. And the annual groundwater quality is more than 495 cubic kilometers. But the spatial and also temporal distribution of the resources vary widely throughout the country. Many parts of the country has a water scarcity problem during the dry season. This diverse condition call for the proper evaluation and management of our groundwater resources and fresh surface water resources. Nowadays, only less than 10% of our surface and groundwater resources is utilized for the agriculture, industry, and domestic and water supply. But the water demand is rapidly increasing with the population and industrial growth. Fresh water is a finite and vulnerable resources, essential to sustain all life forms, human development, and the environment. All the people have the right to sufficient water for drinking, hygiene, and growing their food. The food production and rural community utilize over the 70% of the total fresh water supply in Myanmar. Most of this water is used for irrigation. Irrigation is a significant importance to the food security, socio-economic development, and social stability. With the socio-economic development, more and more water is being requisition by the industry and domestic water supply. The Irrigation and Water Utilization Management Department, IWUND, has diligently pursued the state objectives, constructing the new infrastructure and maintaining and operating the existing irrigation facilities. In addition, one of the department's main tasks has been actively engaged in water development planning and the furtherance of the irrigation water security. IWUND has already constructed 792 irrigation facilities. This facility included 581 numbers of the dams, weirs, sluice gates, 208 numbers of the pump stations, and 3 numbers of the groundwater projects. This can irrigate 3.11 million acres of the land. Concerned with the groundwater sector, IWUND had developed almost 24,000 tube wells for irrigation and more than 39,000 tube wells for domestic water supply. The department also emphasized on the water management for sustainable utilization of the water resources and also participate on the formulation of groundwater law for our country in collaboration with other departments, organizations, NGOs, INGOs, and communities. This training, water accounting and auditing, which conducted under the FAO Technical Cooperation Program, is one of the significant steps in the water management of our country. The totally 29 participants are selected from the National Water Resources Committee, Department of the Agriculture, Yangon and Manali Technological University, Department of the Meteorology and Hydrology, and IWUND. These participants will have to sit and grow water accounting and auditing works in their respective departments. Nowadays, high quality water is an increasing scarce commodity, and it should be recognized and managed as an economic goods. Planning, development, and management of the water resources need to be governed by the national perspective. So, I would like to encourage all the participants to seek knowledge from every lecture and case study and discuss actively and effectively. Finally, I would like to appreciate the representative and all responsible persons from the FAO for their countless effort in the initiative the TCP and organized this training. And also the thanks to Mr. Wapsa Raj Khanal and Mr. David for your efforts. Thank you very much for this training for all. Thank you very much.
အဖွဲ့မှာစကားပြောကြပြီးတဲ့ပြည်သူ့ဆရာဦးတင်မောင်ကြီးတို့ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်။အခုဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့ဒီ training နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ training အကြောင်းကိုမိတ်ဆက်ပြောကြပေးဖို့အတွက် Senior Water Management Expert FAO Mr. Pushpa Raj Kanel ကိုစီနီမောပေးခေါ်ပါတယ်။ May I invite Mr. Raj Kanel to take the stage.
Good morning. First of all, my thanks to the colleague and the government and the ministry people for actually arranging my trip to this beautiful country, and I'm very happy and delighted to be here with you to share some of my thoughts. Why we are organizing this training? In anything when we do, we have three things. First is why. Why what we want to do it. And then when we are satisfied, yes, there is a reason to do this, then how we do it, or what we want to do. Then when we identify what we want to do, then another question comes, how we can do this? So in this 5 days training, we will be discussing actually why this water accounting is needed and how you can best use this tool for the management of your water resources. Also, you all know the word hydrology. Many of you are from, I think, hydrology background, some are geologists, some are hydrologists, some are civil engineers, but I think most of you know what hydrology is. Then water accounting basically is about the managing the hydrology, which we will discuss in later phase. And then, why we have to learn about this water accounting? Because in Myanmar, in many parts of the world, we have a very acute dry season these days. If you look water in terms of the overall terms, we have water. Sometimes things are flooded, we have so much rain. There is only one problem with water. You do not have water when you need it and where you need it. Otherwise, we have lots of water in the world. So, the problem with water is we don't have it when I want to use it and where I want to use it. That's the problem with the water. So, it's like when you have less money in your pocket, then you have to be very wise in how to spend your money. Water accounting tells you the same thing about water. So, this is emerging tool, new tool, and the beauty of this is you can use very simple Excel sheet, or you can also use high advanced remote sensing methods also. It depends on actually what is your purpose, what is your resource available. So, then I think in the next 5 days we will discuss about all these things. Now, as a first step, we will be implementing this training to you through the structured training programs that we will do in the next 5 days. And then we have tried to make the course, compatible to your context. Theory applies same everywhere in the world, whether it is America, China, Myanmar, Nepal. theories are same, but the practicality differs. Myanmar is different from Thailand, and Nepal is different from Myanmar. So we have to contextualize this concept. So we have tried our best, getting examples from your own rivers, from your context, so that how we can fit this training to your context. That is the objective. So that you are able to contextualize to your context. And learning is two ways. It's not that Jeff and I will be delivering some notes. We will be also learning a lot from you. Learning is a two-way. We can learn from you also. Learning never ends. So and then when we were discussing about this training, we have been doing these trainings in some other countries also. And thanks to my colleague Jeff, we have conducted this training for Afghanistan. I myself once conducted it in Nepal. We have done it for some other participants in Dubai. And now Myanmar. And I hope we will be able to continue, because this was a bit advanced level also. And who will participate? For participation, we always encourage multidisciplinary team. There are elements of hydrology, but there are also elements of pollution. Sometimes it's difficult for some people, but please try to get minimum of it, because we want to make this team as a multidisciplinary team, so that different people will look at from a different perspective. I am an engineer, I look from an engineering perspective. Maybe he is a social scientist, he looks from his own perspective. So this perspective, these different flowers, makes a garden beautiful. So we try to make this chain as a beautiful garden. So we have a different discipline people, there are different perspectives. Slightly it will bring some challenges at some point, because sometimes some things are too technical, too theoretical. Try to learn from your friends. But having different flowers in a garden is a beautiful garden than just having one rose. Maybe it may be a beautiful red rose, but it's always good to have different flowers. So, and our objective is basically, this is the beginning. I hope we will be able to, if there is interest, if you find this is something interesting, this makes sense to you, then our objective in the long run is to establish a good pool of the local experts within Myanmar who can do this kind of thing. No need of Pushpa, no need of Jay, no need of Mr. Chong or Mr. somebody else, but someone from you, one of you, down 1 year, 2 year time, you would be able to do, yes, this is my water balance sheet for my river basin, yes, this is my groundwater situation, this is my river situation, this is my requirement, so that we have a pool of resources, expertise in this country to do this water accounting. And there is also one advanced training called water accounting plus, which is done entirely based on remote sensing water. That's the very last stage. So, just to say in one word, the overall objective is basically to make you capable persons and to do water accounting in future, and then also contribute to the policy process in your country. That is the overall actually trend. And basically, I have thought at the beginning of having 9-10 different packages of this training. These trainings are combination of the first two trainings only. Not all trainings are necessary, and we want to do it in a stepwise manner also. So I will not be here for long with you. I am going back on 3rd evening, but I'll do 3 days completely. My colleague Jeff will be here for full day. I think it would be better if Jeff gives idea of you actually the training packages, training schedule. It will be more relevant. So I would like to ask actually Jeff if he could explain some of these things about training packages, training materials. But before I leave this desk, I would just like to make it one request to you all is, make it interactive. We are not teachers, right? We are friends. As I said, some points you know better than me. So some management you may be doing differently here. And you have a reason why you are doing differently. And I have to learn from you actually. So make it please interactive. Jeff and I are facilitators to make you understand in some areas. So do not hesitate, if I ask, people will think, this man doesn't. No, don't take that one. You don't have to worry. Just raise your hand, discuss it, make this very interactive. If you want to do it, change your arrangement every day, whatever you feel will be comfortable to you. Okay? Make it very informal. Very informal. Friends discussing among themselves and learning. Okay? Rather than just being like this, listening to what others say. No. Just please make it very interactive. You don't have to hesitate at any moment when we are having tea, coffee, or whatever. Please make it a very interactive training program. Do not hesitate. So with this one, I would like to conclude what I have to say, but I would like to request my colleague Chair if he can further explain on what are these training packages and then what is the training schedule of this particular training. Thank you.
အခုဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့ Water Resources Consultant Mr. Jeff ကနေပြီးတော့ဒီ training နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့အကြောင်းအရာလေးကိုဆက်လက်ပြီးရှင်းပြပါမယ်
Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with all of you. Thank you for your opening remarks. And from what I've read so far, I've been looking at the state of the basin assessment that some of you worked on, and also the report on the central dry zone that also many of you worked on. And what I understand is that the country is a very water-rich country, as you both shared. But the challenge of where the water is and when the water is there is the challenge. And so there's the central dry zone will be the focus of some of our case studies in the Pelé. I think we have a gentleman from the Pelé region with us. Thank you. So I'm really excited to meet each of you, to hear your interest in this topic, and to together explore the details, your questions, and together learn about this material. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you to do that together. Like Puspa said, if I leave or Puspa leaves after having come up here and said something, but it wasn't actually caught and sort of internalized, then it's not a success. But we want this to be an interactive thing that you catch and wrestle with and say, whoa, I don't understand what you're saying right now. Can you stop and let's discuss that? That's the type of thing we want from you guys, from you, okay? So we're excited to move forward like that. So just a few logistical things. We're going to have hard copies of all of the slides that we go through. And even for this opening session, we have some slides that we're kind of going through. And what I'm going to do is ask you to turn to the second page of your notes. So, and on the slide number 7, it says training packages. So it's on the bottom left of the set of slides. And what I want to do is just go through these 8. Again, Puspa referred to these 8 training packages, and we're going to combine some of them with you as we move forward. And this initial training package is a combination of the first 2. So the first 2 are an introduction to water accounting, and then the second one is practical lessons on water accounting. And so we're going to merge those together over the next 5 days. And I'd like to think of these 8 packages as sort of building maybe a pyramid or a structure. And so in this first 2 sessions, we're building the foundation, right, in terms of terms and concepts and theoretical principles. There's going to be some things about plant physiology and about hydrology, meteorology. It's very interdisciplinary, right? We're building a foundation of concepts and terms. And then we need to think about, but actually to kind of talk about that some more, in terms of concepts and terms, we're going to do examples by hand. Because I don't want people to get caught up with the task of learning a new software program or learning some new technical skill on the computer. It's all about the theory is the importance for this training session. So we're not going to bother with complicated computer programs or programming or anything else. We're going to focus on pencil and paper. We're going to do the old-fashioned way, which old-fashioned is not bad. Sometimes it's very good. So it's, but once we have that foundation from the next 5 days, then we need to continue to build the next story, right? And the next story is going to involve some technology. So that's where we need to make sure we're all familiar with tools like geographic information systems. And we're going to use QGIS. It stands for Quantum GIS. It's a free software that anybody in the world can get and use. And so we think that's a wonderful thing, and we're going to take advantage of that. Perhaps many of you come from a background using the ArcGIS from Esri. If you do, I think you'll be quite familiar, and QGIS will make sense to you. Then we're going to move into a discussion of remote sensing, right? And how we can observe the Earth now with satellites, and then how do we use those information, those data, in water accounting. And then moving forward, there's some rule for hydrological modeling, so numerical modeling in water accounting. And so the next training will probably cover those 2 topics, okay? Then it's important, I think, at that point to zoom out a little bit. So we have the theoretical foundation, we have some technical tools to do water accounting, but what does the results mean? What do these results mean? And so I think then the discussion of water productivity and virtual water and water footprints become important, because from a global perspective, we all need to have more crop per drop, right? We need to produce more food with less water. And so how can we use water accounting as a way to quantify what our water productivity is and then to optimize that? And then finally, as Puspa referenced, there's Water Accounting Plus, which is being developed in the Netherlands with IHE Delft, perhaps some of you know that, and also with EMI out of Colombo in Sri Lanka. And that collaboration is building this remotely sensed toolkit, and that will be the final step. There's a professor named Wim Bostensen, who is a colleague of mine and Puspa's, and we've been able to teach this in Dubai, and then hopefully he will be coming here for the last session to teach this advanced method, once we have the foundation, right? So that will be kind of the top of the building. And so it's important that we have the same people participating as we build this structure, right? Because if someone gets the foundation and then they leave, and then we get someone else for the first story, what happens to the first story, right? There's no foundation now, right? So it's really important that we maintain the same group as we build this structure, okay? So please bring that message back to the decision makers or whoever's deciding who to nominate, we will make the message clear, but also please share that with your colleagues in your different organizations. Okay, so that's the big picture of the training program. And then specifically, the next 5 days, we're going to break the days into sessions. So each session will be roughly 1.5 hours long, followed by a 30-minute break. And then we'll have a 1-hour lunch break in the middle, from 12:30 to 1:30. And the topics of the sessions are listed out here on slide 8, so I will not go through them specifically, but I'm very excited to go through each of those topics with you in the coming days. And I think just a few other comments I want to make in terms of what are our expected outcomes. At the end of these 5 days, what do we hope each one of you possess in terms of skills? So there's really 3 things that we want each participant to possess. And again, this is your job now to become an active learner so that you walk away from this training with these skills. Okay? So we want you to be able to define the key concepts and terms within water accounting. So what does water accounting mean? What is a flux? What is a domain? What is changes in storage? Right? What is remote sensing? Those are the types of questions we want you to leave with a strong and firm understanding of the definition of those terms. Because if we don't have the right language, we can't speak water accounting, right? So that's the first step. We need the language of water accounting. Okay? And then once we know the language, we need to understand the data requirements. So what information do we need to actually do the water accounts? So we want you to be able to identify the data requirements for water accounting. And then we want you to be able to explain a water balance. So what is the process of making a water balance, and what are the data requirements for that? And finally, to be able to apply that with a pencil and paper to any new area within your country that you might be working in. So those are our objectives for this training. We're going to be using some different technology tools that maybe you've used before, maybe you haven't. I hope that they're enjoyable. One of them is called Kahoot, and we'll do a Kahoot after this session is done at the beginning of the following session. I won't try to explain what it is, but I think it's a lot of fun. I hope you do as well. All the training materials are on Google Drive. I don't know, maybe we can have our first bit of participation here. Who has used Google Drive? Do we all have Google Drive accounts? If you just raise your hand if you've used Google Drive. Okay, so it's maybe kind of a bit of a new thing. All it is, it's an online folder where we can share things. Yeah? So all of the presentations will be in Google Drive. All of the references will be in Google Drive. All of the examples will be there too. And I'll share that with you. And then we'll be growing this as we move forward. If you have a question, I might find a paper for that question and put it in Google Drive and share it with you. So that's how we'll collaborate. And what I want to close with is that learning should be a fun, enjoyable process. And so I am very enthusiastic about this topic. I'm very eager to explore it with you. But now it's, I think, really up to you to also join Puspa and I in that excitement and that eagerness by creating a safe learning environment where we're free to ask questions at any point. I think for both Puspa and I, we would like you to interrupt at any point with questions. Please bring your questions. And become an active learner. So those are my thoughts here to start with. I'm very excited to go through this material with you, and thank you for this time.
တဲ့ရောက်လာကြတဲ့ဒီတင်နန်းများတင်နန်းများအားလုံးကျေးဇူးပါတယ်အခုအချိန်လေးရတဲ့အတွေ့အကြုံမှာဒီ9ရက်လုံးလုံးဒီတင်နန်းတက်ရမယ့်ဒီများအားလုံးအချိန်ချင်းပို့ပြီးတော့ရင်းနှီးမှုရအောင်တွေ့ဖို့ကိုမိတ်ဆက်ပါမယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ဒီကမိတ်ဆက်မှာကကိုထားပြီးမိတ်ဆက်မဲ့အစားကြီးကျန်တဲ့လူတွေလည်းတခါလေးခင်မရင်းနှီးအောင်လုပ်ဖို့နှစ်ယောက်တည်းတွဲပါမယ်ကိုဘေးရလူနဲ့အကြောင်းကိုမေးပါမယ်ပြီးရင်သူ့အကြောင်းကိုပြောပြပါမယ်ကိုအကြောင်းကိုပြောပါမယ်အဲ့လိုကြောင့်ဒီကြောင့်အခု9ယောက်စီထိုင်လာကိုအကြောင်းကိုဒီဘေးအစောကနေပြီးတော့2ယောက်စီတွဲလိုက်ပြီးတော့အလေတန်းမှာလက်ဆုံနဲ့2ယောက်ကတစ်ဖက်နဲ့ပြန်လဲမေးပြီးတော့ပြောလို့ရပါမယ်ရမှာခင်ဗျာအဲ့တော့မေးမယ့်အကြောင်းလေးကိုကျွန်တော်ကိုလိုနဲ့လေးမျိုးပဲပြောပါမယ်ခင်ဗျာတကယ်လို့ကိုဒီရေးပတ်ပြီးတော့ပြောလို့ရပါမယ်အဲ့တော့ဒီမှာအနေနဲ့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့အတိတ်ကတော့ background ကိုဒေသနာလာတယ်ဒီကဏ္ဍကိုဘယ်လိုကြောက်ဖို့လို့တရားတရားဖြစ်တယ်မထာနာလူချေလို့ဖြစ်တယ်လူစိတ်ဝင်စားလို့ဖြစ်တယ်ဆက်ဖြစ်တယ်နော်အဲ့ဒါရဲ့နောက်ပြီးတော့အဓိကကဒီသင်္นานကနေပြီးတော့ဘာရလာမယ်ဆိုတော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ expectation ပေါ့နော်ပြင်ပါရမယ်ပြီးွားရင်နံပါတ်4အနေနဲ့ရရှိတဲ့ဥစ္စာပေါ်မှာကိုဘာအသုံးချနိုင်လဲဆိုတော့ကိုဆက်လက်လှုပ်ဆောင်တဲ့ဥစ္စာလေးအဲ့လေးကိုပြောပြရအောင်ကိုကြောင့်ဆိုတာတော့တစ်ခေါက်ပြောပါမယ်ကိုသူရဲ့ဌာနအကြောင်းအဖြစ်လာတာဖြစ်စီဒီကိုဘာကြောင့်မလို့လာရောက်တဲ့အကြောင်းလေးနဲ့ဘာရမယ်ဆိုတာလေဘာဆက်လုပ်မယ်ဆိုတာရပါခင်ဗျာအားလုံးကျွန်တော်ပြောတာရှင်းပါလားခင်ဗျာလူလေးပြန်ကြည့်ပါကိုဘေးက2ယောက်ပြောတာပါပဲအလေဘာရောက်နေတဲ့တယောက်ကဟိုဘက်ဒီဘက်အလေမင်းလန်းလေးကိုဖြတ်ပြီးတော့မိတ်ဆက်ကြပါခင်ဗျာ9မိနစ်ဆိုရမှာလားခင်ဗျာရလားခင်ဗျာ9မိနစ်ဆိုရပါမလား7မိနစ်လိုချင်တာပြန်ပြောဖို့အခြေအနေရှိသေးတာခင်ဗျာအဲ့ဆိုတော့ခင်ဗျာအချိန်9မိနစ်လောက်ပေးပါမယ်တယောက်နဲ့မေးပါခင်ဗျာပြီးတော့မှပဲတယောက်ချင်းပြန်လည်ပြီးတော့ရှင်းပြကြတာခင်ဗျာကျေးဇူးပါ
会check 路了，你要买特写，等等。哎，对，这个。
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဆရာတို့ဆရာမတို့တယောက်နဲ့တယောက်ကတူလို့ပြီးကြပြီဆိုရင်စပြောလို့ရပြီဖြစ်ပါတယ်နော်ဘယ်ဘက်ကစကြတယ်လဲညာဘက်ကလားဘယ်ဘက်ကလားအနောက်ကလားရှိအောင်အရှိရဆရာတွေကပြီးနေကြပြီပြောတယ်ဗျာဟုတ်ကဲ့အဲ့ဒါဆိုကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီညာဘက်အရှိဆုံးကဒီညာဘက်ဆိုတာလေကျွန်တော်ဘက်ကညာဘောဘက်ကပြီးလို့ပြောတော့အဲ့ဒါကနေစာလို့စလိုက်ရပြီခင်ဗျာဟုတ်ကဲ့ဘုမတော်ဆရာစပြောပြပါမယ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ခဏလေးပါဦး။ကျန်။ပါရ။ဒီစံဗဒနာ
ရေပေါ်ချထားတာဆက်ပြီး
ဆရာကဒီနေ့ကိုပါရွေးစင်းနေတာလည်း
ကျွန်တော်ဒီကနေ့ဟို artist တွေနော်လေးရကြတယ်ကျွန်တော်လာခဲ့တာကျွန်တော်အရေးကုန်ချနေဆိုတော့ဘာလို့တက်ပြီးဒီချင်တာ
ဒီနေ့ကရလာမယ်ပြန်ရပြီတော့ဘယ်လိုတင်ချဖို့စီစဉ်ရှိလဲ
ကျွန်တော်ဒီတနင်္လာရမှာဒီနေ့ကျွန်တော်တောင်းနေကြတယ်ချတော့
ဘယ်ဆရာပြန်ပြေးတယ်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကိုနာမည်ရကိုပဲတင်လာပါ
ကျွန်တော်ဇမမောကကျွန်တော်စိုက်ပျိုးရေးဌာနရုံးချုပ်ပြန်နေအောင်ပြုလုပ်မှာတောင်းထားတယ်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဆိုပါ
ဒီတနင်္လာကိုဘာကြောင့်လာခဲ့တာ
ကျွန်တော် GNS application ကိုတူပြီးတော့ water level ကိုတွေ့ချက်တဲ့ဒီပြင်တော့ကျွန်တော်မတင်စိတ်ဝင်စားပါဘူး။အဲ့ဒါကြောင့်ဒီနေ့အောင် testing လုပ်ပါမယ်။
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဒီတနင်္လာရလာတဲ့ဒီနေ့ရက်ကိုပဲမှာတော့ချမယ်
အခုကျွန်တော်တို့တောင်းပြီးမှာအခုလက်ရှိမှာဒီ solar snap ကိုတူပြီး water level ကိုတွေ့တဲ့ weather forecast station လေးကိုတောင်းပြီးတော့လည်းဝယ်သုံးနေတယ်။ဒါပေမဲ့သူတို့တောင်းပြီးဒီပညာပိုင်းအားနေတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်ကျွန်တော်တို့ extension ပေါ်ကကျွန်တော်စာရေးနေဆိုတော့တွားပြီးပညာမပေးနိုင်ဘူး။အဲ့ဒါကြောင့်ဒီ GNS နဲ့ဒီ water level ကိုတွေ့ချက်တဲ့ဒီပညာတွေကိုတောင်းပြီးအောင် computer ထဲရောက်အောင်ကျွန်တော်ပို့ချင်လို့ဒီလိုစနေဆို GNS ဒီနောက်လာတက်တာပါ။
โอเคဒီကလာဆင်ပါနေရောနော် ဟုတ်တယ်လေခင်ဗျာဟုတ်ကဲ့
ဒီမှာလေးနာမည်ကစဉ်းစားနေတာ။ဟိုက land use division ပေါ့။ဘာမှမဆိုတော့ဒီသုံးချိုင်တန်းတာဒီမှာတောင်းတက်ပါမယ်။သူကဒီကနေ့ကဘာတရားပြတာလဲဆိုကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီမြေသုံးချိုင်တန်းမှာရေသုံးချိုင်အများကြီးစမ်းရှိပါတယ်။ဒါကြောင့်တရားပြတာတယ်။ဒီနေ့မှာဘာရမယ်ဆိုတော့ရေသိမ်းလေးစနစ်တွေထားတယ်။ဒါနဲ့စိုက်ပျိုးရေးတွေရေသိမ်းလေးစနစ်ထားတယ်။အရှိလာရဲ့ဒီရရှိလာရဲ့ဒီရရှိတဲ့တိုးရေးစနစ်ကဘာလဲသုံးချမယ်ဆိုတော့စိုက်ပျိုးရေးထုတ်ကုန်တွေရဲ့ဒီစနစ်ကြောင့်ပုံစံတွေဒီမတ်တက်စီတက်နေတယ်နောက်တော့ဒီအတွက်သူစီကပို့တယ်အောင်တောင်းတောင်းနေရပါရှင်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့အမိုင်းလည်းပြောတော့
ဒီမနာမည်ကတော့မခင်လည်းဖြစ်ပါတယ်။သူကလည်းမြေသုံးချရေးဌာနလာတာပဲရှင်။သူကတော့ဒီမြေသုံးချနဲ့ဒီ water accounting နဲ့ auditing ဘာလို့လာတဲ့ရလဲဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ပညာတွေလည်းရတယ်ပြီးတော့ကျတော့ဒီရွေးချက်ကတော့မြေသုံးချနဲ့ပဲတင်နေလို့ပါရှင်။နောက်တစ်ခုကကျတော့တောင်သူတွေအတွက်လိုအပ်တဲ့စိုက်ပျိုးထုတ်ကုန်တွေအတွက်ဒီကြီးကလည်းမရှိမဖြစ်လိုအပ်နေတာမို့လို့ဘယ်လိုအသုံးချမယ်ဆိုတဲ့ဟာကိုလာတစ်ချက်ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ရှင်။
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်နော်နောက်ကဆရာများဟုတ်ကဲ့ဆရာတို့ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဟုတ်တယ်ဗျာ
ရတော့
ဟုတ်တယ်ပြောတာမဟုတ်လို့တရားပါတရားကြောင့်ပြောတာဟုတ်တယ်
So yes, he came from Yangon Technology University, so which is under the administration of Ministry of Education. So our research center in the areas of remote sensing GIS, which officially inaugurated in 30 October 2018. So since 2015, our center is giving lecture in the areas of remote sensing GIS and undergraduate and postgraduate students as well. So why I came here is that there are different research groups in our university, especially for postgraduate students. Also, water-related disaster research group, they are many users in the areas. So I hope that I will be able to get the knowledge gained from this training, so that I will be able to contribute to the students as well as for the researcher in the areas of remote sensing GIS, focusing on the flood-related issue. So he also working in our research center in Yangon Technology University. So he has been working in the remote sensing GIS for more than 10 years in the areas of satellite data processing and geographic information system. So I hope that we both came here and we will enjoy the training process, contributing to the progress of our research center, and which will be is also a great benefit for our university. Thank you.
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျေးဇူးပါဆရာဆရာတို့တာပြီးတရားတော်အိုင်ဒီယာပါမယ်ဆရာဟုတ်ပြောပါလိမ့်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ရပါတယ်
Actually, our background is more as they say on remote sensing and GIS. So we are came here and interest about this training is to learn about the water balance and groundwater. because of working for teaching to the civil engineering, especially for the water resource engineering. That's why we need this knowledge background. That's why we are happy to attend this training. Thank you very much.
Okay, the rest of my comment.
ဒီဆမ်မသမီးကတော့တော့ဝေးဖြစ်ပါတယ်သူကတော့ assistant လဲဆိုတာပေါ့နော်civil department ပါMandalay Technology University ပါဒီတနန်းကိုဘာတော့တက်ရောက်တာလဲဆိုတော့တက်ရောက်ဖြစ်တဲ့အကြောင်းလေးကတော့ဌာနရွေးချယ်လို့ပါဌာနရွေးချယ်လို့ပါတနန်းနေရရှိနိုင်တဲ့အကျိုးကျေးဇူးတွေကတော့ဒီ water resources တွေကို management လုပ်နေတယ်ပေါ့နော်ပြီးတော့လို့ရှိရင်ဒီတွေကိုဘယ်လိုအကျိုး water utilization ပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒီအကြောင်းအရာတွေကနေပြီးရရှိနိုင်တယ်လို့ထင်ပါတယ်နော်အဲ့တော့ရလာတဲ့knowledge တွေအားလုံးကိုလည်းဒီကျောင်းသားတွေနဲ့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ဝတ္တနာတွေပြန်ပြီးတော့ပေါ့နော်ပြန်ပြီးတော့ညှောက်ပါတယ်
ခုတော့ပြောပြီးအဲ့ဒါဒီကိုofficial အနေနဲ့ကျောင်းကသင်ခန်းစာသုံးဖို့ဥစ္စာတွေမှာထည့်သွင်းပြီးတော့ပြန်ထည့်ပါလားကိုပဲအနေနဲ့ပြန်လည်းညှောက်လို့ဖြစ်နေတာ
ဒီစလို့တဲ့အခါမှာတော့ပြန်ပြီးတော့
ထည့်ပေးပြီးလား
ထည့်ပေးပြီးလား
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဘယ်ကဆက်ပါ
Yes, good morning everyone. Let me speak in English. And my name is Tasu Sunne and I graduated as the Master of Water Resources Engineering in 2018. This training course? Yes, actually I was selected as a candidate under the WRTC, Water Research and Training Center. Actually, I am working at the ARIAN project, Irrawaddy Integrated River Basin Management Project, one of the World Bank project.
After this training, how will you share your knowledge to the other person?
Expectation? Yes, to be as my expectation, I hope, I expect I will like to, I will get the knowledge about the water management, how to manage water supply and water usage, and also water accessibility for the domain users, such as government sector, political sector, socio-economic sector, etc. Thank you. Okay. What is your name, please?
I am Tintin Tree from Civil Engineering Department, Mandalay Technological University.
And so, according to this training, what would you like to get to explain?
Mostly in Myanmar, we use water for irrigation, mostly factory water. But now we are focusing for the content we use to provide groundwater. So from this training, we were because in our university we have postgraduate students and graduate students. For postgraduate students, we can contribute this knowledge when they are working their research for master or PhD, and as well as for the graduation visit for the undergraduate student too. So we can share for this student.
So according to this training, after this training, what would you like to continue for your Students or you are
Yeah, we can contribute for their research for postgraduate student and as well as for undergraduate student too.
Thank you.
ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဘာသူ့အကြောင်းပြောပြတယ်ဒီအကြောင်းပြောပြဆက်
My name is Manal. I'm from Mali. I'm
ဒီအကြောင်းပြောပြပြောဆိုပေးပါ
Nice to meet you. His name is Pinao. He is a PhD candidate from the Yangon Technological University, and he expected from this training how to manage the water supply and water usage, especially in the river basin. And he is also the assistant lecturer at the Delhi Technological University. So he expects to share his students the knowledge from this training.
Good.
She is sorry. Her name is Agnes Anami. She is from WTRC and she graduated from Jammu University. She specializes in born in Harvard, India. She do many research. She is a researcher and value artist. She got many knowledge from this program and then she share with your her colleagues in India in Pakistan. Thank you.
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်
We are from a PhD candidate from MADU. Her name is Tanya Modem. I am India. We attended this training on behalf of our teacher because they have summer school training at MADU.
Oh, okay, so like we were here because they were not able to attend.
We will get this training from, we will get water accounting and sustainable water usage and application of GTRS, remote sensing for water studies. From this training, we can apply the knowledge of using GTRS and other modelings in our future thesis studies. Thank you.
That would be it.
အားလုံးပဲမြင်ကြပါရှင်။ကျွန်မကတော့မိုးလေဝသနဲ့စကားပြောတာခင်ဗျာ။ဒါကစပြည့်မိုးလေဝသဌာနဘွဲရနေပြီးတော့ဒါပြီးတော့တက်ရောက်တာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။ကျွန်မနာမည်ကတော့စပယ်ညီမလက်ထောက်ညွှန်ကြားရေးမှူးပါ။ဒီညီမတွေကကြတော့အခုသိရှိမှဒီကဘိုင်းအောင်နေတဲ့အတွက်သူ့ကကျွန်မပဲမိတ်ဆက်ပေးပါမယ်။ဒီကျွန်မတွေကတော့ဌာနဘွဲတူပဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်။ကျွန်မဒီသင်တန်းကိုတက်ရောက်တာတော့ကျွန်မတို့ရဲ့စကိုင်းမှုနေရာပြီးတော့ရွေးချယ်ပြီးတော့တက်ရောက်ခိုင်းတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒီစိုက်ပျိုးရေးမှုလေသာဌာနခွဲလုပ်ငန်းကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့10ရက်ပဲမှုလေသာစာဆောင်တွေထုတ်ပြန်တယ်ပြီးလို့ရှိရင် assessment mobile application တွေရဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့စီကနေ create လုပ်ပြီးတော့ focus တွေလုပ်ပြီးတယ်အဲ့မှာဆိုလို့ရှိရင် advisory agro advisory ရဲ့ section တွေပါတယ်အဲ့ဒီအတွက်ဒီ water management နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ဒီသင်တန်းကိုတက်ရောက်ခြင်းအဖြစ်ဒီကဏ္ဍမှာကျွန်တော်တို့အနေနဲ့ဟိုတောက်သူဒီ centralized ဆိုမှရှိတဲ့ farmers တွေအတွက်ကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီတောင်သူကြံမေးမှာဒီပညာရဒီ sharing လုပ်ပြီးတော့မှဟိုခမ်းမချက်တွေအနေနဲ့ထုတ်ပြန်ပေးနိုင်မှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်အားလုံးကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်ရှင်
အားလုံးမင်္ဂလာပါသူဒီမာလေးနာမည်ကတော့ဣတ္တတလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်ဒီလိုကျွန်တော်ကတပားမှတူတူပါပဲဒီတန်း9ရောက်တော့ဘုလိုသားရဲ့ဇာတ်တရားမှုကြီးဌာနဖြစ်ပါတယ်ကိုကတော့ဌာနဝဲတော့မတူဘူးပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တို့ကစိုက်ပွဲဘုလိုသားဌာနဝဲတို့ညောက်ကဇာတ်ပင်ဌာနဝဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်သူကဒီဟိုယာရုနေနဲ့တော့ဟိုအချူလီယန်အောင်စားပါအောင်နော်တိုင်းမှာ လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်ဟိုသူဒီတင်နာလာရောက်တက်ရောက်ကသူဌာနဟိုလွတ်ထားလဲပါတယ်နောက်ပြီးတော့ဒီဝါဒအကောင့်တွေဒီဝါဒ use state ကိုသူလေ့လာခြင်းတဲ့အတွက်လည်းတက်ရောက်ခြင်းဖြစ်ပါတယ်အခုသူကဒီမှာဗာရနိုင်တယ်ဆိုတော့တော်လင်းတဲ့ဥစ္စာတော့ဒီဟိုဝါဒအကောင့်တွေနဲ့ပတ်သက်တာပေါ့နော်ဝါဒ use state လုပ်တဲ့ဥစ္စာနဲ့နောက်ပြီးတော့GIN နဲ့လူစနစ်ကိုလုပ်ရတဲ့ဥစ္စာကိုသူရရှိတယ်လို့သူပြောပါတယ်။အော်ဒီပြန်ပြီးတော့ဌာနအတွက်သုံးချမှာတော့ဒီဌာနမှာတော့ဒီတင်ရတဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ရရှိတဲ့ဥစ္စာတွေ knowledge share နဲ့လုပ်မယ်ပြီးတော့ဌာနမှာသလားပြည်နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့နေရာမှာဒါပြည်ကခံနိုင်ချက်ထုတ်ပြန်တဲ့နေရာမှာဒီပြန်ပြီးသုံးချမယ်လို့ပြောပါတယ်။
His name is Mr. Winner. He came from Agro Meteorological Station, Department of Meteorology and Hydrology from Yangon. He said he attended training to allow his Director General he expected to get the training. He learns water accounting and GIS techniques. He is sharing for this training. He got the training. He is sharing his session and he learns Johnson.
ကျွန်တော်တို့ကဟိုဌာနမတူတဲ့အတွက်အပြန်အလှန်ပဲပြီးတော့ဟုတ်တယ်ဒီရဲ့နာမည်နဲ့ဌာနလေး
I come from the Department of Meteorology and Hydrology and thus the controls of MODC. I also working hydrological division under GMH. Hopefully, as why we as for second question, our directors and director general assigned to join this training. For the third question, hopefully we hope to learn water accounting regarding the water management and how to overcome the flood and water scarcities in Myanmar. For the next question, according to the knowledge of this training, we can share that other colleagues in our Department of Meteorology and Hydrology, and also sometimes I have a chance to teach the student in the hydrological subject. So that's why hopefully by using this knowledge, I can share a lot of water accounting knowledge to the student. Thank you.
ကျွန်တော်တော့စင်နာလေးရေသုံးချမှုစီမံခန့်ခွဲမှုဌာနပါနာမည်ကတော့ထမောင်တွေ့ပါဒီရင်းမြစ် branch မှာလုပ်ပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်ဒီတင်နာလာတက်လာတော့ပထမတော့ဌာနရွေးချယ်လာတယ်ပါပါတယ်နောက်ကျွန်တော်ကိုယ်တိုင်လည်းဒီမြေရောက်ရေးစမ်းသပ်ရှာဖွေတူဖို့တဲ့လုပ်ငန်းတွေမှာလုပ်ကိုင်နေတာဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်တော့ရေနဲ့ပတ်သက်တာကိုစိတ်ဝင်စားလို့တက်တာပါဘာဒီတင်နာဘာရလာမလဲဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့အနေနဲ့ကတော့ရေရောက်ရေးကိုအသုံးချတဲ့ရှာဖွေတဲ့လုပ်ငန်းတွေကိုလုပ်တဲ့အပြင်ဒီတင်နာကနေပြီးတော့ရေနဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့အခြေခံအကြောင်းအရာတွေကိုပိုပြီးကျေပြည့်ပြည့်နားလည်လာတယ်လို့ယူဆပါတယ်ဒီမာဆက်လုပ်နေဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်ဒီတင်နာရတဲ့အသိပညာကိုကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ဒီဒုနီယာဖြစ်တဲ့ဌာနရင်းဒီဒုနီယာလေးတွေကိုချဝေတော့ဖြစ်ရတာဟုတ်ကဲ့ဒီလိုမျိုးစီးနေတယ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဟိုဘက်ကဆက်ဆက်
ကျွန်တော်တို့ကတော့ဌာနတူဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက်ဘုရားမှုပဲနောက်ပြောကြည့်ကြရအောင်ကျွန်တော်ရေးသားတယ်ကျွန်တော်ကတော့ဒေကောဖြစ်ပါကျွန်တော်လည်းပတ်တိုင်းဝေးတိုင်းကျွန်တော်လည်းဒီတိုင်းဒီလိုလာလို့ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒီနောက်ကတော့ဌာနယူချင်တယ်ကျွန်တော်ကိုယ်တိုင်လည်းစိတ်ဝင်စားတယ်လို့ပြောဖြစ်ပါတယ် ဒီမှာတော့ဒီလို
တော့ဒီမဝေးတဲ့ဒေသကြီးတို့မှာတောင်ဒေသကြီးတွေလည်းတာဝန်ထမ်းဆောင်နေတယ်ဦးလုံးဖြစ်ပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်ကတော့ဘယ်တော့ကျွန်တော်ဒီဝယ်ရရှိမှုဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒီလည်းဘာလို့တဲ့ရတဲ့ဟာတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဌာနယူချင်တာလည်းပိုင်းဒီနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ပြည့်ချက်တဲ့ဘိုင်းမျိုးလည်းစိတ်ဝင်စားလို့ပြောပါတယ်ပြောရတယ်ပြောပါဒီဟာဒီနဲ့နေပြီးတော့ဘာရရှိမယ်လို့ကျွန်တော်တို့ကဒီဘိုးရင်းနဲ့ညောင်းနေရဲ့ဘာမှလည်းစပြီးဘာလို့လဲဆိုအောင်တော့ဒီဘာလို့လဲချင်းချင်းဆိုတော့ဒီအဲ့လိုမျိုးညောင်းရင်ကောင်းတဲ့ဘာလို့လဲကောင်းတဲ့မှုတွေဒီဒီကောင်းတဲ့မှုတွေကိုမောင်နာရီရဲ့ information လောက်နိုင်တဲ့စီးရီးပြီးပြရမယ်လို့ပြောနေတယ်။နောက်ဆုံးချက်နေကြဘာလို့ဆက်လုပ်နိုင်လဲဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်ကညောင်းရင်လည်းဒီဘောကြီးကြီးမှုကိုပြချက်နိုင်တယ်ဆိုရင်ဒီနေ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ဘာမှမတော်လို့စာပေဘာသာလို့ဒီလိုတဲ့ကောင်ဟုတ်တယ်။အဲ့လိုမှလည်းကျွန်တော်ကရရှိတဲ့ဒီနေ့ရတဲ့ဒီနေ့အတိုင်းနဲ့ဆက်လုပ်တော့
ကျွန်တော်ရဲ့မိတ်ဆွေကျွန်တော်တို့စကိုင်းတိုင်းဒေသနေလာပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်ဒီကအကိုဆောင်နေဆက်ပေးပါမယ်။ဒီဘက်ကအကိုကတော့ဥမ္မာအောင်တန်လက်ထောင်ပြောကြတယ်လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်။ဟိုကခုလက်ရှိလောဆယ်ကျွန်တော်ပဲမှာခဲတောင်းဝင်နဲ့တောင်းတန်းဆောင်နေပြီးတော့အခုသူ့ကိုဘာကြောင့်ရွေးချယ်လဲဆိုဌာနလည်းရွေးချယ်တယ်ဌာနဘာကြောင့်ရွေးချယ်လဲဆိုတော့သူကအခုကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီအော်ဒါ training session မှာဆွေးနွေးဖို့ case study တစ်ခုနဲ့ lesson basic ကို case study လုပ်ပါပါတယ်။အဲ့ဒီသူကသူ့ရဲ့အုပ်ချုပ်မှုအောင်မှာရှိတယ်။သူကအဲ့ဒီထင်းထင်းမှုဆောက်ရှောက်မှုအားလုံးအဓိကသူလုပ်နေတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။ဒါမှမဟုတ်ဌာနကသူ့ရွေးချယ်တဲ့အကြောင်းရင်းတွေမှာလည်းချက်ပါပါတယ်။အဲ့ဒီမြေရောရေရှာမင်းတွေကဒီရေးမဲ့ခိုင်ထဲမှာအများကြီးရှိတဲ့အခါမှာလေးလေးဆုံးရှုံးမှုတွေအတောင်တွေကိုယ်ပိုင်တွေရဲ့ဌာနတွေရဲ့လေးလေးဆုံးရှုံးမှုတွေအားလုံးကိုတက်ချက်ပြီးတော့ဒီမြေရောရဲ့ groundwater sustainable ဖြစ်ဖို့အတွက်ဒီရရှိတဲ့ပြည်သူတွေကိုပြန်လည်ပြီးတော့ဌာနရောပြန်လည်သုံးချတော့မှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။
His name is Uwe Oguha, the head of groundwater sections in Secretaries. We expected that we will get much knowledge of accountings and auditing training, and we can apply the knowledge to be sustainable for usage. And we can share the knowledge to the farmers. Thank you.
Okay, well, saya boleh siapa orang yang ada di situ jangan ya. Dia sudah itu kan. Hello. Good morning. May I introduce my friend? He is Udodo, Assistant Director of Groundwater Division of IWULD. His background subject is geology. He was chosen by developer to attend this training. He also interested in this subject, so he attended this training. By attending this training, he will apply the water accounting and auditing subject his development. Thank you very much.
Introduce my. His name is Utanai Deputy Director for IWULD. We are the same organization. We interest this training, water accounting already. But because my department is irrigation water utilization management department. After this training, I can share and
apply knowledge in my development of IWUMT. Thank you.
Okay, listen, is it? Yeah.
I can go first. So this is U Aung Kai Mo. It's okay? Yeah, okay. And he also works with his colleagues at IWUMD as a geologist and also a GIS specialist. He studied at Yangon University, and since 1998 he's been at the IWUMD. So about, he said 16 years, but I said, no, it's been 20. We're getting old, I think. So good. And then, yeah, he's interested in learning about the water balance and has 2 daughters. They're 7 and 4.
ကျွန်တော်တို့ Mr. Jeff Davis ဆိုတော့သူက US နိုင်ငံကဟိုဖြစ်ပြီးတော့ကယ်လီဖိုးနီးယားသူကbackground တော့ civil engineer သူကပြီးခဲ့ကမကြသေးခင်ကာလကသူက PhD water resources ရပြီးတော့ဒီ water accounting နဲ့ဟို socialize လုပ်တော့ဒီ FU မှာသူက water resource consultant နဲ့ဒီဆောင်ရွက်တယ်
Okay. တုံးတဲ့လူတို့အပြားမိတ်ဆက်ပေးကြပြီးတော့ကျန်တဲ့ဘက်ကအကြောင်းအရာများကို share လုပ်ပေးကြတဲ့ဆရာမအားလုံးကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်။အခုဆက်လက်ပြီးတော့ဒီ program series ရဲ့နောက်ဆုံး series ဖြစ်တဲ့ဘုသူတက်ဖို့ရတဲ့အခမ်းအနားလေးကိုစပါမယ်ခင်ဗျာ။ဒီဆရာမတို့အစီအစဉ်ရှိကိုတကယ်ကြွပြီးလည်းပြီးကြပါမယ်။
大雁。